Olivia Rodrigo, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for calling. I'm so excited to be speaking with you because I'm such a fan of High School Musical, the series, which is a long name but deserving of every word in its title. And also, just like, I feel like since I've started watching the series and listening to your music, I've become such a big fan of you as well. So, this for me is no better way to spend isolation.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Streaming is doing well in times like these.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I've been following you on Instagram and you seem to have been adapting to self isolation quite well and like using it to write music. Would you say that's a fair representation of how you've been doing?
I feel very lucky. I'm home with my family and we're staying safe. And the self isolation has given me a lot of time to kind of write songs. I challenged myself at the beginning of the quarantine to write a song every day of the quarantine. I haven't missed one yet. So, definitely getting those creative juices flowing with this ample time.
Yeah. As I said, I've been following you on Instagram and I love your Instagram because I feel like it's really like you. It feels really authentic. What would you say is like the Olivia Rodrigo criteria for an Instagram post? What do you decide what goes online and what stays offline?
Oh my goodness. Wow, I'm so flattered that you say that. I don't really know. If it's something that feels important to me or something that I care about a lot, I'll post about it. But yeah, I always try to keep it as genuine as possible. Social media is kind of just an extension of you, and so sometimes it's kind of scary to feel like you get to cultivate that kind of image of you. But I just try to keep it as authentic as I can, and that kind of relieves some of the stress from social media. Because if you're just being yourself, then really there's like no harm that you can do.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the series, is blowing up. It's only recently become available in the UK. You play Nini on the show. How did the opportunity and how did the role come about?
Yeah. So I have a good relationship with Disney. I was on a Disney show for about 3 years when I started when I was like 12 or 13, and so I did that, and that kind of ended. And I was looking for a new thing and kind of just chilling, seeing what the world was going to offer next. And I got an audition for High School Musical. And initially, I was kind of worried because I thought that they were going to like remake High School Musical, and obviously, it's such a beloved franchise and one that I definitely grew up watching. So I was kind of, apprehensive at first. I was like, are they going to do this right? Like, are they going to do it justice? Are they going to, not ruin all of the nostalgia that I and so many other people have associated with it? But so I auditioned for it, and I read the script, and I met our showrunner Tim Federle, and I just absolutely fell in love with the project. I think it's so new and different, and kind of a fresh twist on an old classic, which I really love. So I auditioned, and I met Josh, and we sang a song in the audition room, and it went really well. And and just kind of just came to be. I feel really lucky. It's an amazing project, and I feel really grateful to work with all of the people that work on it.
Yeah, what was it like filming at like obviously the same high school where High School Musical was shot, and kind of seeing all these iconic locations?
Right. Yeah, it was so cool. So Matt who plays EJ and Josh and I all drove out to Utah on the same day, and that was the first stop that we made. We all drove and we went to East Tide and took a picture in front, and we were just like absolutely like in awe of this. Like it's kind of like a landmark now at this point. And I remember the first time I saw the pink lockers. I started to pink lockers from the movie. I just freaked out. But it's so much fun to get to film in Utah because we film in Salt Lake City 6 months out of the year, and so it kind of feels like summer camp. So I'm just like hanging out with all of my best friends in Utah.
Yeah, that sounds so much fun. Now, as I said, Disney Plus only landed in the UK a few weeks ago. And so the show is slowly being like rolled out all around the world. Have you like felt that with people discovering the show and your music as well, kind of as all the different markets go live? Are you finding new fans from all around the world?
Oh my gosh, yes. I guess I really haven't been totally paying attention. The cool thing about music is that it comes out like at one time all over the world, and people who have maybe never seen the show have heard like All I Want and like through TikTok or like other mediums like that. And so that's something really cool about music is that it kind of, transcends all barriers and, all release dates.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm really excited for people in Europe to watch the show and kind of hopefully be as touched by the stories as I am.
Well, let's talk about All I Want, because I'm not joking. It must be one of my favourite songs at the moment. I actually heard the song.
Oh, thanks.
I heard the song before I'd even seen the show. Like, I think it was the your
Right.
acoustic performance for Vivo that I came across. Like, my first moment of
cool.
discovery was a really raw acoustic performance of the track, and when I dug in more and found out that you'd written this incredible like ballad, such a heartbreaking song, all by yourself as the only songwriter, I was just like even more blown away. Tell me, how did the opportunity come about to write a track like for this show? Did you have the song already and then they wanted to use it, or did you write it for the show? What's the story?
Yeah, I am like still pinching myself that I got to write a song for this show. It kind of came about really naturally. Our showrunner, Tim Fenderly, who was just an amazing human being, knew that I was a songwriter and really like supported me throughout like my artistry and my like creative journey. He was always like very supportive and there for me for that. And so one day, I posted a song that I wrote on my Instagram, and I guess the Disney execs found it, and they said, okay, we want me to have a song like this song Olivia wrote in episode 4. And Tim was like, well, why do you want somebody else to write a song that you want to sound like an Olivia song? Like, why don't we just skip the middleman and have Olivia write it? And so that's how it came to be, and I wrote it for the show. I wrote it right there, and I remember playing it for the first time for Tim in the East High choir room because there was a piano in there, and just like in between takes we would like run up and go find a piano and play it. So yeah, I feel really, really grateful that I got to have that opportunity.
Does it make the success of the track, because as you referenced yourself, the track's travelled so far, does it make it that even that bit greater, that it's kind of like your baby that you wrote all by yourself?
Yeah, it feels really amazing. I think sometimes like songs are just like separate entities, and sometimes when you write them, you just have to like let go of them and hope that people are affected by it positively. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what people think, and I think one of the coolest things as a songwriter is to get to see people like covering your song or like making TikToks to your song. That's just like my favorite thing in the whole world. So I'm so excited for more people to see it and hopefully make their own mark on it.
Yeah, well, I've been I was like watching your Genius video breaking down the lyrics, and I've been listening to this song for a minute, so I know most of the words off by heart by now. But there's one lyric that really stands out to me, which is at the very, very end of the song. All I have is myself at the end of the day, and all I want is for that to be okay. That in particular hits really hard as a listener. Is that something like that you struggle with yourself, that idea of just like accepting yourself as being enough? I'm just interested behind the inspiration for that lyric.
Oh my gosh, totally, 100%. And I remember writing the song, I was kind of going through a little bit of boy trouble myself. All of us humans are kind of, going through the same experiences. Like, no real human experience is particularly unique. I think we're all, experiencing things at the same time. And so I really related to Mimi in that way. And I think that's definitely something that I struggle with, especially being a teenage girl. Sometimes it's kind of hard to know your worth and not derive it from other people. And so I just think I've been working on that a lot. But I'm glad you resonated with that lyric. It's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, and another thing you referenced in that Genius interview is that you think you can be you described yourself as quite a stubborn person when it comes to like wanting to get what you want the right way. Is that like, I'm really interested in that idea, because it's quite a rare thing to hear someone describe about themselves.
Yeah, I definitely think I am a very stubborn person when it comes to a lot of things. When it comes to songwriting, I'm super stubborn. When it comes to love, I'm super stubborn. So yeah, I think that definitely kind of shows itself in lots of the stuff that I do. But I think sometimes people should be stubborn, and I think especially like when it pertains to like romantic partners and stuff, it's like you gotta set the bar high. Like, I think that's totally valid, and And, I think everyone should do that. So, yeah, I don't know.
What's so like interesting to me is talking to you now and like having watched other interviews you've done. It's difficult for me to separate like Olivia and then when I was watching the show, Nini. It feels like you two are obviously like you look alike because you're the same person, but from like a character,
Yeah.
there's so many similarities. Do you feel that, or are there any traits that Nini has that you kind of wish you had or wish she didn't have?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally relate to Nini 100%. I think that she just resembles me a ton. And I think the issues that we go through are really similar. And I think that this has to do with the really authentic writing that our writers and producers and directors kind of really help us kind of get. So I think, like I said, lots of issues that people are facing, it's not like a unique issue to them. And I think lots of times we're all going through the same thing. And so Mimi and I are definitely going through the same thing at a lot of, periods of our lives. So, yeah, and it makes it really fun to play that character because I feel like I can channel a lot of my own personal experiences and feelings into her. So, yeah, we definitely are very, very similar.
Yeah. And on All I Want Again, the music video I love as well. And I was reading the comments and people were saying things like you're the master of social distancing because you're literally in the middle of the ocean in the video.
Yeah.
What was it like shooting that, like the whole experience of making that video?
That was crazy. That experience was wild because it was my first time kind of working on a project that was like an Olivia Rodrigo project. Like usually I'm on sets and I'm, playing somebody else and like reading a script that somebody else wrote. But this time, I was performing a song that I wrote for something that would go under my own name, which is kind of crazy. And we actually filmed it before kind of all of the social isolation quarantine stuff came about. So we were ahead of the curve, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it turned out really, really good. And I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, you kind of hinted on something quite interesting in that answer, which is that this is as much as your character performs this in the song, this is very much an Olivia Rodrigo song. When you handed the song in and were like, I think this is the song for the show, was that kind of on your mind that this song hopefully will have a life of its own and this is something that people are going to associate with not just your character, but with you as well?
Yeah, I did know that, and I think that I knew that when I was writing it was kind of posed a new challenge that I had never experienced before. I was so used to just like writing for myself, by myself, in my bedroom, and like showing the songs to my mom. And so this was my first experience writing something that I knew would be heard by people. So that was kind of stressful, and but I kind of just realized that as long as I'm writing truthfully and honestly, I can't really go wrong. And that's what I tried to do. And I tried to bring in my own experiences to the song. So yeah, that's kind of just how it happened. And I think once you write a song, you kind of have to let it go and realize that it's not yours anymore. It's everybody else's song once you just like hand it off, and that kind of makes it a lot easier to bear.
Yeah. Well, look, as I said, I love the song. I've also, obviously, whilst I've been watching the series, discovered a lot of other songs, like one of the song in the first episode, I Think I Kinda You Know, and one of the songs I discovered last night was Wondering, which came up in episode 2 or episode 3.
Yeah.
Which are all great tracks. I need to ask though, you said earlier you're trying to write a song every day and you've been posting some snippets on your Instagram of your quarantunes, as you're calling them. When will we get to hear these as fully fledged released songs?
Oh man, I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm very stubborn and very particular, so it like has to be like perfect before I put anything out. But yeah, I'm definitely working on it. It's something that I'm looking forward to doing in the future.
Amazing. My final question then, and this might be a hard one, but obviously this song, one of the many places it's blown up is on TikTok, as you said. And I've spent many hours scrolling through watching TikTok videos of both of All I Want and separately. What is your favorite TikTok video, either of All I Want or just in general?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so hard. There's this video of I don't even know if it's like viral or if people would recognize it, but I remember I was scrolling through my For You page and I found this baby and this dad like eating French fries to the song All I Want, and I almost cried. It was so cute. I just like love seeing stuff like that. I think TikTok is really good because I kind of feel like uplifted by watching it. I don't know. It's like I find something cute or like inspiring and I feel happy. And that was definitely a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I love this app. So yeah, I don't know if people have seen it or if I could even find it, but I just remember vividly watching that video like 15 times.
There we go. Well, Olivia Rodrigo, I feel like we've learnt so much about you in the past 15 minutes. Thank you so much for chatting today.
Oh, I hope so.